they're getting
Have you watched
RPGs smuggled in
Veganism?
from Iran, but if you're talking about small arms artillery, they
Yeah, Afghanistan.
yeah, so
All
they
over Afghanistan,
they
all that
so
came to them and
so
being
again
fired at news, and nobody's blaming America as they dump more weapons on the region.
so again
More weapons clearly.
they make their Qassam rockets in-house. They know how to make explosives. They know how to make rocket fuel. They're making their own rockets. They are manufacturing some of their own small arms. It's pretty easy to.
Are those factories all in Rafah? Because nothing else is standing in Palestine.
About 50% of structures have been damaged or destroyed, and the other 50%.
And it's a kill zone to be there, so they're certainly not bringing in 30 people to manufacture rockets in secret, bro.
Okay, again, the point I'm making is they are manufacturing. So the point is they're getting small arms artillery, so that includes like RPGs, firearms, AK-47, stuff like that.
Yep.
Funneled in largely from Iran. Some of them they make at home. Like again, it's relatively easy to manufacture firearms, and they're making their Qassam rockets within Palestine. They're able to make their own rocket fuel and stuff. So like that's just the point I was making about where their arms are coming from.
I'm pretty sure a local yokel could make rocket fuel in his backyard. What's your point?
Well, you were there. So we had some sort of disagreement on where arms are coming from.
Okay. So why wouldn't the rocket fuel secret bases be solved by my blended state UN policed solution?
Well, they'd still be able to make the rockets.
Where would how with the UN peacekeepers searching buildings and making fucking radio? You know, they have radar that can penetrate the jungle and take pictures of shit that's buried underneath it.
Yeah.
Why don't they use that to find the bomb factories, send the UN peacekeepers to shut them down?
You don't think they do that? You don't think they use LiDAR to find out these things?
Then why aren't they finding these? Dude, that should be the easiest targeted bombing campaign in history. What are you saying? There's 90 million of these hidden things. They're making rocket fuel rockets. There could only be one big facility in a tiny. Dude, that place could fit twice in Manhattan. You're telling me there's 2 giant rocket facilities in Palestine that haven't been reduced?
I'm not saying that. And you don't need a giant facility to make Qassam rockets. Again.
Are you a Qassam rockets expert now, bro? I thought you were a vegan expert.
Okay, so
now you're going to tell me what goes into making a Qassam rocket, homeboy, without going to Wikipedia, because I want to know you're expert before I listen to whatever's coming next.
Well, a large part of the fuel is literally just sugar. So I don't know exactly how they're made, but again,
you don't know how they're made. You don't know how many fucking
there's domestic
factories there are.
So you realize there's domestic terrorists. You realize there's domestic terrorists in the United States that have made their own home explosives. Correct?
Oh, yeah. Timothy McVeigh is one of the most famous, right? The Oklahoma City Federal Building was a nitrogen bomb made from fertilizer from his brother-in-law's farm. Yeah. So how about you talk to me about something I don't know about now?
So you don't need any kind of large, complex facility. This is something that you could make in somebody's apartment building.
You said making rockets, and now you're trying to pivot to truck bombs. No. I didn't say truck bombs. I said rockets. We're talking about Qassam rockets. You were going to expertly tell me how easily and sneakily you can make a Qassam rocket. Please continue.
Again, you can make the rocket fuel and the explosives literally in an apartment building. I don't know how LiDAR is going to really help you.
A can of gasoline doesn't really get you from point A to point B, right? You got to have a vehicle for combustion. So where are they making that? Where are they filling it? Where are they getting it? Where are they manufacturing it? Why hasn't the fucking UN or Israel targeted these fucking facilities that must stand out like a
That's
radar?
why
they're making fuel in a motherfucker. Why?
So if one apartment building out of say 100 in one apartment block is making some of these rockets, I don't know how you think LiDAR is going to necessarily pick that up.
You're telling me that there are secret worker co-op apartment blocks where Mrs. Ali Abdul Aziz on the top floor makes a widget. She doesn't know what it goes to. She passes it. She puts it in the mailbox.
So that's not what I'm saying.
Out the front of it comes a Qassam rocket.
So that's not what I'm saying.
You're being dishonest, bro.
So
why can
you just calm down and let me explain?
Here's the thing, dude. Okay, fine. I'll calm down. This is not me being fucking piped up. I just yelled, bro.
Okay,
especially
so
when people are being slaughtered. Like,
with all due respect, I just want you to just be quiet, and I don't mean that to be rude. Let me explain.
I will meet you where you meet me. Okay, I will respect you if you don't raise your voice or talk down to me, and don't lie to me.
Yeah, I'm not lying. I'm being honest. Like, this is what I think.
Go ahead. You can say whatever you want. I'm sorry for talking over you. I'm sorry getting fucking but I care about people.
Yeah, I understand, and I can sympathize with that. So,
fair enough.
So again, you don't need any kind of like large facility to make some of these munitions. So some of these rockets can be made in a single apartment building. So Hamas members, say like a dozen or so of them, could rent out a single apartment building. And let's say there's 100 apartments in one apartment block. So Hamas will assemble these rockets. They'll make some of the rocket fuel. They'll mix like a combination of sugar, gasoline, whatever else.
Where are they forging the metal tip? I want to know that.
Forging the metal tip?
A forge is hot and requires a lot of materials that are very easily tracked.
Yeah,
so I'm wondering where they're forging metal for their rockets and the firing mechanisms as well.
Yeah,
those are not as easy to manufacture as a chemical compound called jet fuel.
So again, some of these are made with literally just hardware parts. So like the actual shaft of the rocket, you could make it from aluminum pipe.
New Vegas, where you take where you find like an oil can and you put a broom handle on it and it becomes a rocket.
Something like that, but you can use like an aluminum shaft for like water piping or something.
Where are they getting aluminum from? Are they manufacturing and smelting the aluminum shafts? Where are they getting those?
Yeah, so they'll dig up some old water pipes. Israel actually supplied them with a lot of equipment to upgrade their water system. That's actually where they're getting a lot of rocket parts from.
You know what the heat signature on a smelting works is? Where are they smelting pipes into aluminum tubes to make rockets?
Yeah, so again, you can literally you can use some of the parts. Some of the parts you can literally just use pre-manufactured hardware parts that are supposed to be like water pipes.
Where are they coming from?
So again, Israel sends over building supplies, and they use some of those building supplies to build some of the rockets. That is how some of it is made. Other parts that need to be manufactured, like smelted or forged. So other parts that wait.
What was that rocket called? Qassam rocket?
Yeah. I don't know how you spell it exactly. Qassam rocket.
I want to take a look at them because I want to see what they're building. Is that fair?
Yeah, sure. But again,
broom handle with a can on the end of it, or what?
So other parts that say need to be forged or smelted or whatever. Like again, there are machine shops in Gaza.
So we know where there would be forges, so we could targeted. Are there millions of hot forge machine shops in Gaza?
No, there's probably not millions, but again,
we could probably target. Let's guess. What would you guess? How many machine shops with a hot forge capable of mass producing rockets smelting do you think exist in the Gaza Strip before the war?
So I wouldn't be able to tell you that, but again,
take a guess.
Certain parts of the rockets. So again, certain parts of the rockets where they might use forging, they might smelt, or they might just use machining. They can just make them in machine shops that are also supplying like
that have a hot forge
machine, like that are also supplying like car parts. Like by the way, this is how the cartel makes weapons. This is how gang members make weapons. Like by the way, we're like if we're analogizing this to domestic criminal activity, there are criminals that basically hire people into their gang that run machine shops to make homemade machine guns.
You're right. This is how gang members make weapons. You're absolutely right. So after we're done with Gaza, are we going to level O Block to make sure there's no hot forge machine shops there?
No, I don't see there being a point if Hamas is wiped out.
Right, but there's a point in this case because we're talking about brown people and we're not talking about fucking America. We're talking about over there. And so there's a difference. It's okay to speculate that a tiny strip of land that you could fit 2 or 3 times in Manhattan has multiple hot forge machine shops that are somehow thermally shielded so they can't be seen by LiDAR and thermal
So do you think the IDF hasn't figured this out and that's how they're doing some of their targeting?
Okay, figure it out. We do a limited bombing campaign where we let everybody know this area will be bombed. Please get indoors. 10 bombs go off, 10 forges turn to dust. You can't build a forge out of shit laying around. You've got to have specialized materials to properly build a forge. So now you've got no forges, no Kazam rockets, which I can't even find a fucking...
You can look at the frequency of rocket strikes going from Gaza into Israel, and they've declined dramatically since the October 7th attack, since Israel invaded.
Wherever it was that you were referencing, I'm having a hard time finding any. Oh, Qassam. Okay, let's take a... I'm going to find some images of this Qassam rocket. It says it's used by Hamas. Okay, cool. So I found the right one. I'm going to take a look. Dude, welding, hot fucking bead welding is having to be done.
Yeah.
You want me to share the screen with you? Okay, so
you can do that if you want, but again,
dude, you know what a big giant hot bead welder costs? Where fucking they getting those? They're not making a bead welder. They're not. They're getting that from America.
You realize there's importation of goods into Gaza, right?
So exactly. So how many of those do you think are in Gaza? You know, roughly. Like,
well, right now, probably not many. And again, you can look at the frequency of rocket attacks going from Gaza into Israel. Boy, they have decreased dramatically since Israel invaded. So again, it's pretty clear to me that Israel is effectively targeting. Yeah, you're talking about Walmart rockets. So like the shaft can be used.
This is what we're building.
Yeah.
This is what we're building in Israel.
The shaft,
in Gaza with 100% Gaza-sourced materials.
I'm not saying it's 100% Gaza-sourced materials.
Oh, so where are they getting the materials?
So some of them are building materials that are getting imported, and they convert some of those building materials to be used for these rockets. And again, the point I was making is since Israel invaded, again, they would probably deduce some of these things. Oh, well, they're going to be made by machine shops. Maybe some of these machine shops are being, co-opted by Hamas to make the rockets. Then they'll use drones to look at some of the movement of...
Because you're wrong already. My dad was in the military. Not that makes me an expert, but this is how the military would assess that, right? And I assume the IDF is probably one of the most well-trained militaries in the world. They have to be, right? Here's how the military would assess that. How many hot forges are in the city of Gaza? We need to get some agents in there to find every place where they could possibly be making these Qassam rockets, because they need a 2,000-degree hot forge. They need to be sourcing aluminum. Where's that coming from?
I don't know why you're assuming they need a hot forge. Like it looks to me like they're just using simple welding equipment.
I tell you what, guy. I tell you what, dude. I feel like we're not going to get anywhere on this. I'm willing to keep yelling back and forth at you and arguing with you about shit. I feel like you're being really, really disingenuous right now. You're a smart guy. I don't know
why you would assume that.
Because you're talking shit. You're talking about forging metal in Gaza, which is now rubble, and how Israel couldn't stop that. That's crazy, bro.
They clearly did, since you can look at the frequency in which these rocket attacks are
killing every fucking person they saw in there. Yeah, that's how they did it.
Are you claiming they're indiscriminately bombing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
If you look at
let me find some before and after satellite photos, and we'll see if we agree with the international community about the indiscriminate bombing going on in Israel.
So if you're going to claim they're indiscriminately bombing,
we're going to do that. We're going to look at a picture.
Okay, but if you're going to claim they are indiscriminately bombing, you can look at civilian to fighter fatality ratios.
In a minute here, I'm going to share it with you in my chat, okay? And just hold on there, buddy.
Sure, go ahead.
Because I don't think we're going to get past it until you tell me what the difference between indiscriminate bombing and this before and after photo that I'm about to show you is, okay?
So
I'm gonna give it to you.
You can look at fighter versus civilian fatality ratios when you have indiscriminate bombing, like Dresden, like Hiroshima, Nagasaki.
Are you trusting Israel's numbers on those death rates?
Because we don't have to trust Israel's numbers. We can look at.
We do. They're bombing indiscriminately and killing people that come in.
We don't need to necessarily rely on Israel's numbers themselves.
Who's independently counting the bodies buried under 17 feet of rubble?
Well, again, there's a number of aid organizations. There's the Palestinian Health Authority themselves.
Your equivocation is starting to become less sad and more fucking annoying now, because now you're a bloodthirsty maniac, and I'm taking back all that shit I said about your compassion for animals, because there are baby parts laying all over Gaza, and you're trying to tell me Qassam rockets are coming out of their asses still. Fuck off, dude. You want to look at this?
That's not what I said.
Or do you want to move to another topic? Because I'm not going to let you equivocate all fucking night, bro.
I'm not what am I equivocating?
You haven't answered a fucking thing, bro. You want to look at this picture with me or not?
What am I equivocating? Sure, like as long as it doesn't violate YouTube TOS.
I'm not gonna. It's a satellite picture.
Okay, sure. Yeah, go ahead.
All right, satellite. And let's only get it. I'm fucking riled up here because you're bloodthirsty, man. I don't know how a guy that has fucking so much empathy for a chicken doesn't have empathy for children. Are those Hamas too? Are the baby parts laying all over Israel Hamas too? Are babies indoctrinated into Hamas? Do they have a choice? Fuck.
So, again, if you look at, so like I was saying, if you're going to claim they're indiscriminately bombing, we can actually look at.
I'm about to back that claim because you're going to see rubble.
Okay, can you let me talk, please?
Go for it, buddy.
So, if you're going to claim they're indiscriminately bombing, we can cross-reference this with other data of indiscriminate bombings. And we can look at civilian to fighter casualty ratios.
No, let's do the math, bro. Let's do the math. Let's take a look.
You can look at civilian to fighter casualty ratios. So Dresden bombing, for instance, Hiroshima, you see civilian to fighter casualty ratios that are around 1 or below 1 in terms of risk ratio. So basically, for every like 99 civilians, like 1 fighter's killed. That's what you tend to see with indiscriminate bombing. When you look at the civilian to fighter casualty ratio,
would you say? Oh, I agree. Okay. Would you tend to say that you also see with indiscriminate bombing undue and complete destruction of infrastructure over a wide area? Would you say that's also an attribute that you would say applies to indiscriminate bombing?
So I don't know why we care about buildings so much. I care more about people.
They have people in them, dumb fuck. They have people in them.
And Hamas also uses buildings. So did the Nazis.
I forgot. That's where they're forging aluminum. You're right.
So
you fucking weird.
So
you're a weirdo.
So
you care more about chicken and my chicken coop.
Can you let me finish, please?
I think you have finished, but you can go.
No.
Yeah, I think I'm out finished, but you can go.
So if we look at the civilian to fighter casualty ratios with the Israel invasion of Gaza, you're seeing risk ratios between 26 to about 47. That is well outside. Yeah, sure.
Do you know the difference? Do you know the difference between normal and normalized?
What do you mean by that?
Can you? Well, these numbers, you're going to tell me that the civilian death counts, by the way, that Israel is giving you, by the way, without digging up the people that are under 17 tons of rubble that won't be found for months, right? But we're trusting those Israeli numbers, right? So that's what I'm asking you.
So
what is the difference? What is? Hold on. Let me finish. What is the difference between normal numbers of civilian casualties in a conflict like this and normalized numbers? Can you tell me the distinction?
I don't know what you mean by normalized.
So you're not smart enough to know what normalization means? You're a pretty smart guy. Sounds like a word
like,
you must have heard.
I just want to understand the proposition you're making.
Just on Israel, you don't know what I mean when I say the plain English word normalized? Just on Israel, though. If I said it was normalized, I bet if I had said earlier, it's normalized to rape cows, you'd have been like, yep, you'd know what normalized meant then. But for some reason, we're talking IP, and Vegan Gains doesn't know what normalized means. Do you want to look it up yourself so we can move on, or you want to keep dithering about a word that you've used a million times? Oh, wait.
Like what's the proposition?
The proposition is, what is the difference between you giving me a number and going, look, 17,000 casualties per square foot or whatever is normal for this type of fucking thing. It doesn't indicate, according to this, and this, indiscriminate bombing. I asked you to distinguish between normal and normalized because I don't think there's anything normal about baby parts being blown all over the fucking city and the rubble and the destruction and the fucking bombing of people and nuking of people and fucking all the shit that goes on in war, bro. All of it.
Okay,
All
well,
of it.
the
You know what I look
proposition
at?
you
Hold
made
on,
was
let me
that
finish,
Israel
let me
is
finish, 'cause I'm gonna
indiscriminately
talk to you as
bombing.
a vegan. I'm going to talk to you as a vegan. You called what was going on with cows a Holocaust earlier.
Yes.
Is there a Palestinian Holocaust happening right
No,
now?
there's not.
Bye.
There's a Hamas
Bye.
Holocaust.
Bye, fucking
So
weirdo.
I thought you wanted to have a discussion on this. Okay, I guess we're done. Okay, I figured. All right, well, the point I was going to make that he didn't allow me to make was that if he's going to claim Israel is indiscriminately bombing, then we can cross-reference this with other data that we get from other wars and urban combat. So if you look at true indiscriminate bombing, so say the bombing of Nagasaki, Hiroshima, for instance, there was indiscriminate killing, and you see risk ratios, which means militants killed slash militant population versus civilian killed slash civilian population. That's how the risk ratio formula is produced.